is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen? Day Traders Club Swing Traders. Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are ready for another round of the market fun. We'll see what happens today. But we got Albert in the house. Good morning to you. We got Anna. Good morning. Bill, Brian, Corey, Jason, Jay. Good morning to Joe, JT, Kevin, Lauren, Lucian's in the house. Good morning to Marius, Michelle. Good morning. We got Miguel, Mike is Randy. Tina's in the house. Good morning to a win. All my peeps out in YouTube land. We got Toby saying, good morning to Honey Roy. All my lurkers in the background. Just make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. If you guys have tickers you want to take a look at, let me know. Let me know. We will definitely get to pull those up and kind of cover as much as we possibly can. But Spy, I I I don't want to go out on a ledge, but I think we had a red day yesterday. I know there's gonna be a lot of people that disagree with that, but I'm gonna I'm gonna stand on that one. We definitely did not hold any level. Yeah, Win says it kind of red, kind of a almost a $12 move on the SPY. So not bad, not bad. Again, much needed. We still need a pullback. I'm not freaking out in terms of a pullback after I can't count that high because I ran out of fingers and toes. But we got a lot of weeks in a row bullish. Really, just 1 week that was down and immediately took that out. So we are on week 3. We still have a whole heck of a lot of time left in the market. So 3 more days, including plus today. So 4. This candle could be anything still. So we don't know. But even if it pulls back, it's 488.93, 49. We hit some bigger levels. It's a deeper pullback. It's still in correction mode. So we're not doing too bad in terms of really anything yet. And obviously we have yesterday we were talking about it in the morning. We said Israel is we think they're going to put a little bit of counterattack onto Iran, even though Iran said they were done. And I think right after I jumped off the mic, about 15 minutes later, they threw out a statement that they are looking to retaliate a little bit. And I don't know if you could retaliate a little bit. It's kind of like if you take a cloth and you put like one single drop of water on it. It's not a little bit wet; it's still wet. So I don't know. There's only wet or dry, but so they're gonna retaliate. It sounds like, and we'll see what happens. I don't know if they did anything. I missed it if they did so far, but pretty big breakdown. We would look for some more continuation. I got a little bit of support right here, 50437. We're gapping up a little bit. Question is, does the gap hold at all? I don't know. I I think we probably have a little bit more continuation to the downside, but this is a good spot to hold for now. Maybe if today wants to stay bullish inside day candle, fantastic. Obviously, if we get any more geopolitical anything, that's going to weigh onto the market, push us down. Probably the next target down will be about 500. I got 517 to the downside, so we'll see if this breaks. Otherwise, if you're looking, I think at this point after this candle comes in, the one we had from yesterday, I I don't know how excited the bulls are. In fact, I'd probably be looking for the bulls to sell into rips. I do have a moving average that's right, and a VPOC lines up right there around 507. We'll see if that holds. If not, probably looking back for like 509.81. Maybe we get to the VPOC from Friday, which is 510. Market can make some big moves. Obviously, with doing a $12 move yesterday. We'll see. They're shooting unarmed missiles. What else? That's what Iran was doing. That well, I think the U.S. helped with that too. But they were shooting down the Iranian missiles. I don't know if they're. I don't know what they're. I don't know if. I don't know what their counter was, if they did one yet or planning on it still. But they did come out with a statement saying they're planning to retaliate. So we'll see. Jay says ugly red day. I guess if you want to use those adjectives, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And if you have the long term, these days are good for you. These days are great because then when you're buying, you're not buying at all time highs. There is a bunch of companies. I did some put sales on Cracker Barrel. I did some put sales on PayPal yesterday too. So just using the opportunity to to buy some of the already low companies. We're actually selling some puts, trying to make some money, and then if we get filled, so be it. But we'll see what happens. Otherwise, yeah, it was still inside candle at the lows. I do think weakness is going to prevail, and we'll see what happens. We got Qs. Qs, same thing. Pretty ugly breakdown day. This VPOC is lower than all of this. I think we get a lot more weakness sitting here on the Qs, gapping up about 42 cents. So for right now, at least, not a strong indication. Also, right into that VPOC from yesterday. We might open on this one and just continue to drop. We'll see. I do think yesterday's close might give us a little bit of support, unless that bar just jumps like it did now, and then we're starting to get closer to it, and then maybe to yesterday's lows. Otherwise, next stop that I have is 428.86. I think that's conservative. Probably looking at 427.21. A little bit more realistic, and I don't think 425.03 or 423.21 is out of the question for today as well. So we could see another little bit of a pretty big pullback. Just looking at the Qs, there's not a lot holding us back. Let me see if there's any volume zones back here. Sometimes I take this off for the mentor groups. Yeah, we're not really in any high volume zones until we get pretty much down to here. Like a 424, what would we say? Yep, roughly around that 424 zone. So not a huge lot of volume to support us up until much lower. So we'll see. Corey says it looks orange. Yeah. No, that might just be the setting on your computer. That's all. That's it. All right, we got Tesla gapping down. Let's take a look real quick at TLT. Another down day for TLT. Banks under a little bit of pressure today too. TLT coming down, definitely not going to help with the any rally in the banks. This is a retest gap. TLT doesn't really move like a stock when it gaps, but this would be a retest gap. I do have support on this one about 88.24. Next spot down probably takes us to about 87.25. So looks like we're still trending down lower on TLT. And as soon as we kind of broke that pretty good consolidation, it's been just a free fall since then. But again, TLT coming down, not going to help give us any strength, probably at least into the SPY, especially with a lot of the banking stocks tied up with the SPY as well. Let me see if we'll go back. I think I missed a couple of tickers. I think I missed a couple. Let's see. Carvana. CVNA. Lyra says Tesla. Yeah, a lot of people say Tesla. Everyone's saying Tesla. Carvana. So Carvana is at a do or die situation. It does not look great though. We are definitely downtrending. We got VPOC continuing to create lower lows. All those VPOCs closing at the lows of the day. We're gapping below that one. This one will go pretty high on the list for me in terms of a short. And again, with higher interest rates, that cannot bode well for especially a growth company like Carvana. And Carvana is much different than a lot of other growth companies where they actually need the real estate. So they have to have some kind of property, some kind of land at least to build their car vending machines on. So they're going to get hit with, they're definitely heavily dependent on some of those interest rates. So the fact that that's coming, or definitely looking like we might not get that cut in the summer, maybe September at this point, is kind of what the market's price again. So definitely not great for Carvana. We are at a key support. Yeah, I was looking at a few stocks before, but this one looks pretty decent for continuation. We might get a mini bounce, and that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping we get that mini bounce right at open. Maybe a retest of the 69.86. But I'd be willing to act pretty quickly on this one as well. If it doesn't seem to, maybe we could look at pre-market support breakdown, something like that. But that has a lot of room in it. So I'd take a shot with that one. I like it. TSM. This one I'd probably be a little bit more patient with. It is a retest gap. We're still in this consolidation. Definitely double top. This was a good little retest of the initial breakdown. So if we're going to start to trend down, this one would definitely be one to consider. It is pretty up there as well, but it hasn't broken out of that little shop fest yet. So it's still kind of hanging in there. all things considered, China came out, they beat on GDP, so I think they put in like 5.4%. They were expecting 4.8%. So last night they released their GDP and it was actually looking pretty decent. I don't think that's really helping the markets yet in terms of the Chinese markets, but that was a little bit of positivity last night coming in from China. So we'll see what happens there. I think the biggest concern there was most of that number comes from the manufacturing. Consumer is still low, so consumer still underperforming in China, which again, you probably want to try to balance that out. I don't see a lot in the way to the downside in this one. Maybe our first level is about 137.70. Otherwise, I'd be looking for maybe about 136.74. So you have a little bit of room down, but I'd see if we get some kind of a bounce first, maybe until like 139.73. Just we are still technically in that little. We haven't broken down yet, so we'll see. We got Morgan Stanley, probably under a little pressure. No, getting a gap up. They had earnings today. Okay. So Morgan Stanley comes in, beats earnings per share 21%, and then surprise revenue of 719 million to the upside. So pretty fairly good report. Uh this is a gap and go from yesterday. We're still in this big volume candle where we had a lot of selling pressure. TLT is down too. I'd want to lean a little bit more to a fade on this one. Maybe we come a little bit higher. So the first spot I'm looking for is about 90.76. And then I think big resistance on this one is about 91.32. I think I'd rather play this one as a fade, but we'll get this one a little bit higher on the list as well. I don't know if that rally is going to hold. We're also opening right into that 20-day EMA as well. So my guess is that would add a little bit of pressure to the downside. 88.71 would be my target. We should have some decent support right down into that zone as well. And it is technically a bullish gap and go, just not really covering this. So we're playing counter trend if we take this one short. But I think that would be the direction I'd be trying for. All right, for Miguel and Lyra, any other 25 people that want Tesla? Tesla. They Elon said yesterday probably about 10% of the workforce being cut. Then there was other statements being put out there that it might be 20%. Typically, like we said yesterday, typically cutting the workforce, even though it's bad for the people getting cut, it is pretty good usually and bullish for a company. It just improves the balance sheets, cleans up some of the clutter, trims the fat. But under the circumstances as to which you have to cut it, you're cutting it because the demand is low, which is a tough one to to battle. So not great news on this one. We definitely broke down that key level. So this is now the third time we kind of broke down. We still stayed with a little bit of support. Again, my bigger support was somewhere around, and it's not to the penny, but 163.34. So we closed below that one again. We also closed below that previous VPOC. I would look for Tesla bearish. We might get a bullish bounce first, though. So see if this one, I think, wants to come back for a retest. Be a little patient on this one. We got to definitely move this one higher. I don't want to play it bullish from here. Now that we are opening below this one, if we close back above 163.34, then I'm on the fence again. I'm on the fence. Otherwise, if we start getting up into that range somewhere, that last previous VPOC, 162.55, somewhere in that zone, 162.33, we start getting back into that zone. I think that would be a good spot to put some shorts out, buy some puts. All of that major volume now definitely above us. And there's nothing really to stop us. Our first little place is about 144.90. Otherwise, like I said, I think we can get back to this 121, 120 zone. I think that would make sense. 117. So it's going to have some work to do if it wants to go bullish from here, but I prefer a little bit more to the bear side at this point, now that we kind of finally broke down that little zone. So yeah, I'm gonna see if we can get a tiny little bullish bounce on this one somewhere. Come in for that retest. Let some of the bulls maybe clear out, and then see if we want to flush from that point. Otherwise, not a great gap for the Tessie, and a horrific close too. CVS gapping up. Let's see. Is this news? We got divvies coming out. Yeah, the 19th. I get some divvies. I do have some positions in this one, so full disclosure in the long term. Let's get into an interesting buy spot again for me. I think when I got it, I was very close to the bottom, like 64s. I hate dollar cost averaging up, but my position is not huge, so I might want to. Wave count wise, this could be a one, potential two, three. This could be a four, five, maybe on the next fade down, something like that. Let's see. U.S. health insurers rise on. Yeah, so this is a sympathy play off of United Health that reported today as well, which the entire healthcare sector was kind of down based off of the fact that the government's not giving them as much money as they thought they were going to get. But U.S. Health did come in and pretty much matched what they were expecting. So they might not need the money. That is positive for us. CVS. CVS, by the way, yes, it's got the retail store to it, but they also a few years ago they bought the health insurance company. So this is going to be more of a sympathy off the U.S. Health play, uh, more than anything else. But and I see the ticker for HUM as well, so that would be a very similar play to it. So all these guys, healthcare might be ones to watch if you are looking for something bullish. They've been beat up for the last few weeks, so we could get a little bit of a rebound in this one. This is a gap and go to the bull side of things. We do have a little bit more room on this one, so I'd say probably about 73.38 would be my target. However, before that, you do get back into the 72.42 zone. So that's the first spot that I need to break. That was a high volume candle. Was sitting at the very bottom of that one. Bulls were able to take that out once. And now if we have some pressure, we had some volume coming in. What's this from Thursday? Not really too much on yesterday or Friday, but Thursday we were taking out that decent volume candle. And then we're starting to approach this next higher one here. So I think 73.43 would be a decent target for it. Obviously, we might have a little bit of concern ahead of it, a little bit of resistance, but if we get through all that, that might be fun. So we get CVS on the list. That might be we might try to play something bullish in terms of healthcare sector. That is moving a little bit different than the rest of the market. So let's get CVS up there. And since we're on healthcare, let's take a look at Humira, Humana, however you want to say it. Humana, Humana, maybe I don't know. I was called a Humera, but now I'm like, there's no R, so that doesn't make sense. Really good gap on this one. We might have gone a little too far. So I have targets on this one, probably about 337.24. However, my support on this one is not down till 319. So I actually have a little bit better risk to reward playing this to the fade. I don't think I would do that today. You have a huge gap down, great volume. This candle's being taken out. I would like to see a fade on this one and then probably look for a buy somewhere around 319. Just in terms of risk reward, if we go crazy, if the healthcare sector, we're already up almost 5% on the day. But if we do go crazy on this trade, we're probably looking at 346.32. I don't know if we could get there today. So if it wants to pull back a little bit, get me a double bottom, something to that effect, I don't mind it. Let me add this one to the list as well. But I'm going to need more of an intraday setup to go bullish on this one. But we do have some room to the higher side. It's just a little bit better risk to the lower side. I need some kind of sideways consolidation, especially being up like 4.6% or whatever it is, 5%. I'll get that one right under CVS. A couple good gaps today. CVS sympathy with UNH. Yep, absolutely. We got CPNG. I don't know what this company is. I've never seen this one. Copang. Internet retail. So they had a price target raise, earnings, company does not pay divvies, quarterly statements. Technical rating is a buy. I don't know where they come up with it though. Engages operating e-commerce platform. Operates through the following segments: product, commerce, development. So I don't know what they sell. They sell expired coupons. Is that real? Because I like it. It's a low cost business model. Coupang. There's a movie I just watched it the other day. I think it's on Netflix. It's got like Vince Vaughn in it for like a little bit, but it's got the other girl. I think she's from SNL originally, but she's done a bunch of stuff with Vince Vaughn before, and like she sets up a whole business based on just selling coupons. So that's it. Uh, I think she made it's supposed to be based on a true story, and then she got arrested because apparently that's illegal. But pretty good movie though. CPNG. So that one's gapping down a little bit. So nobody wants those coupons today. But into a little bit of support. Still nice little breakout. We'll see if this level wants to hold in this. Otherwise, you do have a reversal. I'd like to see a little pop on this one. Hold that initial support, and then see if it wants to kind of come on down from there. Otherwise, this candle is a pretty good bullish breakout. We're just sitting at the top of it as a retest for right now. So either could go either way. I would like to see a little bit more pullback if I want to get into this thing bullish. And I just can't go bearish yet with it. Miguel says, "Lynn, you're a great trader, but I think you're calling his stand up." I know Win should do some stand up. I'd watch that one. All right, we're gonna go to some Euro versus USD. Get to a little forex. I think we could do that. Trend still looks bearish for right now. You got a little bit of a high wave candle. This probably looks like wave 1, 2, 3. Not sure where that bounce comes, but we do have a little support from back here in October. So that's looking like an interesting spot for support. But again, that's a massive drop. So even if you catch that first one, I think you're probably catching wave 4 and then see if you get some kind of double bottom. Otherwise, target's probably about $1.05653. So calculate your pips, but that still looks a little bit still like it's downtrending, just a small little rest. GBP versus USD. The British pounds. Definitely broke some key levels. Hasn't really retested yet. Is this one candle? Yeah, inside day, 2 inside days. Watch this candle here. I think if we start to break that, there's a lot more room on this one. Next little stop on this one would be about 124, 124.16, and then you got. I don't really have much until the next level of 123 230, and then down a little bit further, probably about to this 1.22222 to infinity. So definitely has a little bit more room to the downside, I think. You might be at the 50% retracement right around here, though. So we'll see. I think it's still looking a little bit weak. I wouldn't be jumping in that reversal just yet. Spy losing in your calls, says Santilla. Yeah. I mean the market doing like a $12 down day typically has that effect on calls. So I don't think you'd be the only one on that side of it, but CVX is going to be very tuned into anything macro news, especially since most of the current wars breaking out are Middle East, and that's where we keep the reserves. Like we talked about yesterday, OPEC probably wants to try to get those prices of oil per barrel to about 100. That's kind of their sweet spot. Anything past that, U.S. goes online and then ends up driving prices. So to avoid that, they'll most likely try to stick with the 100. CVX will obviously benefit from higher pricing. So will XOM. So will Oxy. Right now, we do have a little bit of a pullback retest that probably comes on the heels of Iran saying that they're done. That was it for them. So I guess Iran is under the assumption. You could just shoot some missiles over and look like we did something, and then that's it though, and no retaliation. But if Israel does strike back, this probably jumps with everything else. But oil will probably move first. CVX though into a little bit of support here. It's a retest gap for a day trade purpose. Probably be looking for some kind of a fade higher. Look for like 175.99 as your target. To the lower side, if things get a little crazy on CVX, you're looking for 154.80. But right now it is coming down. Chevron stocks drop. What you should know. Yo, what should I know? Change was narrower than the S&P. Yada yada yada. Coming today, shares of oil company had gained to company. Earnings release of Chevron will be great interest to investors. I think that would apply to all of the companies that people are invested in. And then there's a lot of other words I can't see, but I can see. I just don't feel like reading. So there's that. DJ getting a little lazy today. Let's take a look at AMD. AMD gapping up. Not a great close on AMD yesterday. I still got a target, which we almost hit, but I got 158.03, so did not quite make it down there yet. Uh, I'd be looking for maybe a little continued bullishness out of the gate to 163.25 if we have not done so already. Otherwise, I think the longer term trend is still more bearish. So probably prefer to lean bearish, and then I have like 149.78 in my sights, maybe even down to like 146.41, depending on where that 200 lies. But I think we still have a little bit more weakness on AMD, so any rips at this point I think do get sold into. But not especially with that close that came in. So maybe let this thing, see if this thing could get us a green candle, a couple green candles out of the gate, get a little bit higher, about $1 higher, something like that. And then that'd be a good opportunity to short stops. You could go probably the high of yesterday, 164.72. Want to give it a little more cushion, you're probably heading up to like 166.04. But and then again, earnings come out on the last, I think that's the last day of the month, the 30th, maybe. But it comes out on the 30th, so we'll see that. CVX EU, EU USD, or just EU energy. Uh, Still, yeah, gapping down. This should be a retest gap. We are a little bit at support, so watch the level here, 414. I don't know how well this one day trades, how much volume there is in this one, but if we start breaking that 414, you got one more support around 409, and then maybe back to this 401 zone. But at least a mini retest. So if you want to try to short this one, it was not a great close in this, but probably looking for, we already kind of just ran into that. But 425 would be the target. Otherwise, that is the morning bell. So everybody on YouTube land, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button if you have not done so already. Otherwise, you guys are incredible.